When you look at a massive finished skyscraper, you're really only seeing half the story.
Right. You don't see the foundation.
Exactly. You don't see the years of surveying or the massive concrete foundation poured deep underground long before the very first steel beam ever goes up.
Yeah, and that is actually the perfect analogy for today's deep dive.
It really is. So we are looking at a stack of recent preprints by Anthony von Doom, and this is all about the deep symbolic systems model. The mission here is to basically completely rethink how early Egyptian civilization emerged.
Because the standard idea is that it was just this sudden, overnight agricultural invention, right?
Right, but according to this research, it wasn't invented at all. It was rehearsed. Rehearsed for tens of thousands of years before the first pyramid block was ever cut.
And to understand that rehearsal, we really have to look at memory, specifically how repeated physical actions actually stabilize neural circuits across generations.
Wait, so we are talking about long before anyone was even writing or farming?
Oh, yeah, way before. Communities were anchoring their memories in the physical landscape itself. So think about Upper Paleolithic rock art.
Like the Korda petroglyphs, right, from around 19,000 BCE.
Exactly. And these weren't just, prehistoric living room decorations. The art, combined with these seasonal gatherings, acted as massive memory sinks for early humans.
Okay, I am struggling to picture this a bit.
Yeah.
Are we saying that simply, painting rocks and gathering around campfires literally rewired their collective brains?
Well, essentially, yes. What is fascinating here is if you think about how riding a bike becomes muscle memory, right?
Yeah, you just do it without thinking.
Right. So when early humans painted the same symbols or danced the same rituals every single season, they were building shared cultural habits.
Ah, so that is the deep symbolic systems model in action.
Yes. The ritualized physical labor progressively encoded cultural meaning directly into their neural architecture. They created a shared procedural memory.
So they are stabilizing the rules of their society without a single written word.
Exactly. Just through repeated physical practice.
Okay, but here is where I get hung up. They are physically syncing up their brains through shared rituals, right? But a campfire circle only has so much room.
Right. There is a physical limit.
Yeah. What happens when that group of 50 becomes, say, a settlement of 5,000?
That is exactly the breaking point, because this type of embodied synchronization, it relies entirely on face-to-face interaction.
So there is a transmission crisis.
A huge one. When a community exceeds roughly 500 people, embodied transmission just fails. Think of it like a massive game of telephone.
Right. With 50 people, the message survives, but with 5,000, it is just total chaos.
Exactly. You just don't know everyone's face anymore, so you simply can't maintain those high-fidelity shared memories through rituals alone.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me, because it is like a computer's RAM filling up.
Oh, that is a great way to put it.
Yeah, like once that population boon hit, their internal face-to-face memory capacity just maxed out. To survive, they had to externalize those symbols into standardized objects.
Which eventually leads to massive monuments, like Djoser's step pyramid and, the invention of early writing.
So they basically build giant external hard drives.
Yeah. And just like a hard drive, a pyramid standardizes the data. Anyone in that massive society, even a total stranger, can look at it and immediately read the shared cultural rules.
Without ever having to speak face-to-face.
Right. And the research actually contrasts this directly with prehistoric Australia.
Oh, wow. Wait, how so?
Well, over there, group sizes were deliberately kept under that 500-person threshold.
Wait, deliberately?
Yeah. By keeping communities small, they could maintain incredibly rich oral systems without ever needing to build those monumental external hard drives.
So they essentially managed their population to keep the internal RAM functioning perfectly.
Exactly. Whereas the Egyptians hit the threshold, bought the external hard drives, and built the pyramids.
And because these symbolic hard drives were established like tens of thousands of years before any central state ever existed, they proved to be practically indestructible.
Which is the ultimate stress test. If we connect this to the bigger picture, think about the first intermediate period.
Right, when the central administration completely collapsed.
Yeah, there was no pharaoh in charge. And even thousands of years later, under Cleopatra's rule, the political regimes had changed hands entirely.
But the core Egyptian symbolic grammar survived intact.
Exactly. The political superstructure collapsed, but because the cultural data was physically standardized in the environment, the foundation held.
So what does this all mean for us? To me, it shows that true resilience doesn't come from top-down bureaucracies or, sudden technological inventions.
Well, not at all.
It comes from deep, shared cultural practices that are rehearsed until they are basically encoded in a community. Early civilization wasn't just an agricultural surplus,
Right. It was a neurocognitive continuum stabilized by physical practice.
which I think leaves us with a really provocative thought about our own society today. Because we have externalized almost everything, right?
We really have. This raises a very important question. If our own externalized monuments, the internet, the cloud, all of our digital data, if
Yeah.
that were wiped out tomorrow,
Yeah, what embodied daily rituals do you actually share with your community that could survive for millennia?
exact.
If the skyscraper comes down, what is actually in your foundation? Just something to think about.